public speakers. We'll ask the secretary to announce the public speakers process.
Members of the public who wish to testify have up until 24 hours before the scheduled start of the meeting in order to do so. Speakers will have 3 minutes to address the body and will be alerted when their time is expiring at 1 minute, 30 seconds, and when time is over. Translation services are available for this meeting. If you need assistance, please put forth a request in the Teams chat or see a staff member in the boardroom. Persons authorized to provide public testimony shall not use vulgar, abusive, discriminatory, profane, or otherwise inappropriate language when addressing the board. Failure to act appropriately or failure to adhere to the time requirements may result in expulsion from the meeting and or disqualify the persons from providing future testimony. Written-only comments provided prior to the start of the board meeting will be made part of the electronic meeting record. We have a number of speakers this morning. I'm going to call you in groups. I ask that you would come and stand by the public speaking mic and be sure to introduce yourself before you start speaking. Our first
Secretary, if I could please be added to the roll.
Yes, sir. If I called your name, please come to the public speaking mic. You have 3 minutes to address the body.
So as you see, I'm attire appropriate for this 21st official City of Chicago
Mr.
observance.
Armstrong, would you please come closer to the podium and pull the mic up so people can hear you?
How about
Thank
this?
you.
Okay. As you all see, I'm attire appropriate for this 21st official observance of Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Month, which was enabled by now Vice Mayor Walter Burnett, and also for this July, and also a month ahead in August for Cook County Urban Fine Arts Month, which the late Dennis Deere enabled and helped us to create, as well as a decade of Chicago Urban Fine Arts Commonwealth, which is my civic organization that sought equity not only culturally but politically for Chicago's urban fine arts constituencies that aren't limited to hip-hop and include such black cultural constituencies as country music. So in that time, we've been gratified that in cooperation with Cook County and the City of Chicago, that we not only have promoted our scene culturally, but also politically. You know, we've influenced legislation so that artists and the nightlife staff that support them have some money to take home at the end of the night off the bar and at the door. We've also been in the middle of a bunch of political movements lately for the reran reparations movement, and our message to everyone at all the conventions is no reparations, no black vote. Yep. And we've even grown so that we now have delegates from our scene to both conventions, the Republican and the Democratic conventions. And along with that, the world's longest operating, continually operating hip-hop open mic, recognized by Guinness Book of World Records,
1 minute,
is listed with the host committee as a vendor for the convention. So our message that we promote vociferously now in honor of Commissioner Deere, who set us on the road to that, along with many others, including Peter Silvestri and Deborah Sims and Jerry Butler, is that we can never have enough equity. And equity means promises made and promises kept. It shouldn't have taken a year for Shabadoo to get this resolution that we submitted back then. It also shouldn't be
30 seconds.
On the table that Jean Bellini, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, the lone member of the Ukrainian parliament, still has not gotten a resolution that was promised to us by Kevin Morrison a year ago, while the mayor is entertaining Ukrainian diplomats who don't even mention his name. And besides
time
being
has expired.
the lone member of parliament, he's also the face of the humanitarian relief effort.
Please
in
conclude
Ukraine.
your statement.
So thank you.
Our next speaker. Come to the mic and please state your name.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Babe Poxtis. I am a lifelong resident of Chicago and a Cook County property taxpayer for more than 30 years. I am also a volunteer for United Sovereign Americans and not an official spokesperson. I will read part one of a 6-part presentation. Today I come to you as a concerned citizen of the state of Illinois, sharing alarming information about our state's voter database, uncovered through thousands of hours of research conducted by our highly qualified and credentialed data team. While the numbers are staggering and somewhat difficult to comprehend, one thing is clear: they do not add up. Just like your checkbook must balance, so must our votes. If you had $10,000 fewer dollars in your bank account than you had deposited, you would certainly want to know what happened. And if a company had that significant a discrepancy in their books, they would most certainly conduct an audit. In fact, yearly audits are required by law for all public companies. Our audit of the 2022 election, using only official data provided by state elections officials, shows that the 2022 election may not have been accurate or legally compliant. We are not saying one candidate won over another, or that any election should be overturned. The state's official data from a certified election shows that the votes as counted were not all valid and accurate under the law. Today, we will present you with a resolution demanding an end to the inaccuracy and uncertainty of our elections, along with a summary of our findings and the laws that apply. We are happy to meet with you to have time to go over this information, including more details about the specific findings. If you have questions that I cannot answer now, I will commit to getting you the answer in writing from the United Sovereign Americans executive team as soon as possible. This data and our request for an investigation have been shared with state and county officials and election certifiers. It is essential that you, as our representatives, make it clear that these issues must be considered seriously. Today we come to you, some of our closest elected representatives, for support and action. We're asking that you listen to the resolution, ask questions if you have them, and then vote promptly for its passage. If you need us on your agenda to pass, we are asking today to be invited back. Contact information is provided on the documentation provided to the chairperson. Your action on this resolution will illustrate your dedication and support to the concerns of your constituents and your country. Thank you. Our resolution is next.
President Preckwinkle and members of the board, my name is Robert Scheid. I grew up in Cook County. I own property in Cook County, and I've been a resident in Illinois for well over 50 years. I'm a volunteer for United Sovereign Americans and not an official spokesperson. I'll read you part 2 of a 6-part presentation. I present to you a resolution for a legally valid 2024 general election. Whereas it is a recognized civil right in the United States for every citizen to have free and fair elections, and the right of suffrage can be denied by a debasement or dilution of the weight of a citizen's vote just as effectively as by wholly prohibiting the free exercise of the franchise. Reynolds versus Sims, 377 U.S. 533, 1964. Whereas it is the affirmative duty of our election officials to comply with all federal and state laws governing administration and procedure of our elections, thereby guaranteeing our elections are accurate and free from distortion or manipulation. Congress seeks to guard the election of members of Congress against any possible unfairness by compelling everyone concerned in holding the election to a strict and scrupulous observance of every duty devolved upon him while so engaged. The evil intent consists in disobedience to the law. In Recoy 127, U.S. 731, 1888. Whereas our constitutional system of representative government only works when the worth of honest ballots is not diluted by invalid ballots procured by corruption, and ensuring accuracy can only be achieved through fealty to those laws governing the following four tenets of an election. 1, the voter rolls must be accurate. National Voter Registration Act 1993. 2, votes counted must be from eligible voters. U.S. Constitution, 14th Amendment. 3, the number of votes counted must equal the number of voters who voted.
30 seconds.
4, there can be no more than 1 in 125,000 ballots in error by the voting system. Help America Vote Act 2002. I'm going to repeat that last piece, number 4. There can be no more than 1 in 125,000 ballots in error by the voting system. Help America Vote Act 2002. Thank you, everyone.
My name is Michelle Peterson, and I'm continuing the resolution with United Sovereign Americans. I live in Grundy County and have been a resident of Illinois for 26 years. I also lived in Cook County for 4 years. I'm a volunteer with United Sovereign Americans and not an official spokesperson. I will continue part 3 of a 6-part presentation. Whereas an open source audit of the Illinois 2022 general election conducted by Illinois state citizens has uncovered evidence of massive inaccuracies that violate both federal and state laws, including 4,032,801 ineligible or uncertain registration violations found within the Illinois State Voter Roll Database. Again, that was 4,032,801. 589,985 votes cast by ineligible or uncertain registrations. 27,491 more votes counted than voters who voted in the 2022 general election. No one knows who cast them. 589,952 apparent voting violations in excess of the legal standard of system accuracy for a valid federal election, which goes back to the HAVA law of 2002, where we would have been allowed only 1 error for every 125,000 ballots cast. For the 2022 general election in Illinois, this number was 33, yet we had 589,985 errors. Certification as defined by law and attestation of accuracy and compliance appears to have been fraudulent and illegal, whereas these findings trample accuracy requirements of voting systems for a federal election. For voting system accuracy is defined as the ability of the system to capture, record, store, consolidate, and report the specific selections and absence of selections made by the voter for each ballot position without error. Whereas it must be known factually and provably that the intent of the voters accurately represented by election results before certification can be lawfully conducted. Certification of an election that varies from the law is an abridgment of the civil rights of the citizens, a fraud ab initio, United States v. Throckmorton, 98 U.S. 61, 1878. Whereas Illinois' 2022 general election appears to have been invalid, depriving us of the guaranteed protection of our natural rights under a government duly and provably chosen by us, the American people, resulting in incalculable damage to our families, our way of life, and the fabric of these United States.
1 minute.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks for your time. My name's Tom Quinn. I live in Chicago, and I've been a resident of Illinois for 60 years. I am a volunteer for United Sovereign Americans and not an official spokesperson. I will continue with part 4 of a 6-part presentation. Therefore, we call upon our representatives to provide relief to the people and the assurance of domestic tranquility by joining us in demanding a valid 2024 general election that upholds these existing laws and equitable principles of law. 1, proof of citizenship, identity and eligibility to register and vote, not anonymous attestation. 2, voter rolls certified, accurate, and available for public review and challenge 30 days before the start of early voting. Voters added after that date must bring proof of citizenship, identity, and address in person to a qualified official at each polling place. 3, hand-marked secure ballots similar to currency. Where imaging technology is used for tabulation, the security features must be verifiable in the ballot image. 4, Systems, machines, security measures, infrastructure, and conduct are required to be compliant with federal law for fraud prevention regarding risk assessment, certification, testing, and implementation. 5, adjudication must be signed off by party, candidate, and trained citizen witnesses after being given full and effective observation rights. Candidates and trained citizens must be allowed immediate access to ballots, ballot images, and CVRs. 6, ballots, regardless of entry source, election operations and systems must maintain end-to-end chain of custody from the voter to the vote count to final canvass, including auditability and witness transfer with paper records. 7, a NIST-compliant, randomized, statistically valid, end-to-end audit with a 95% confidence level of all elections pursuant to the 14th Amendment, Section 2, must be performed. These audits are to be conducted by qualified insured and bonded security, forensic, or financial auditors, not personnel from within the election system. Reconciliation will include the vote count, real physical
And 30
ballots,
seconds.
adjudication, CVRs, ballot count, qualified voter count, custody transfer, and all other paper and electronic election systems, including logs. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Ken Zietz. I live in Kane County and have been in Illinois for 52 years. I am a director for United Sovereign Americans, and I'll continue our presentation. 8, if the total of all unique variances above is more than 10% of the margin of victory, a new election must be held in the state for those candidates affected unless the issues can be provably corrected by a manual hand recount and a full review of records. 9, waiver of requirements is not allowed. Only end-to-end system compliance from registration through certification can guarantee the intent of the people is accurately recorded. That concludes our powerfully written resolution, which I have 2 copies of here for the board president to share with the board. This resolution outlines massive inaccuracies of our 2022 election from registration through certification. In it, you heard us ask for meaningful remedies to provide for proactively protecting the validity of our 2024 general election. In fact, the resolution cited many U.S. Supreme Court precedents that support the need for such actions. The laws are being ignored. Bottom line, the checkbook is not balancing, and we need to understand why. The voter system, which controls our most vitally important right, the right of suffrage, is not capable of producing an accurate, trustworthy result. Do you think that these anomalies within our election system, which are part of our national security infrastructure, should continue to be ignored? How much is it costing us not to fix this problem? How much does it cost our GDP, our military, our foreign policy, our health, the self-esteem of our children and young people? And how much is it costing our dignity to keep fighting with each other? The cost is immeasurable, so I urge you to show your agreement by passing the resolution. If you are unable to today, as mentioned earlier, we ask to be invited back and put on the agenda where we can provide a detailed presentation, answer questions, and vote for its passage. We have a website showcasing our initiative nationwide with some great videos that explains the anomalies happening in this state and across the nation. That website is uniteforfreedom.com. It's unite, the number 4, freedom.com. I encourage you all to take a look and check it out. And I thank you for your time today. Who can I give these to?
The sheriff will receive it.
My name is Edward Carl Lipinski. I've been a lifelong resident of Cook County for 34 years, and I have been a property owner for 12 years. I am a volunteer for United Sovereign Americans and not an official spokesperson. I will conclude with part 6 of a 6-part presentation. What you have heard today is the culmination of thousands of hours of work by our highly qualified and credentialed volunteer data teams from this state and across the country. Let's step back for a second and look at the big picture. High numbers of Americans, including many right here in this county, have questions about the trustworthiness of our elections. I think we can all agree that we wish this was not the case, but official data shows these concerns are valid, and the law says they are important in securing our liberty. At the same time, government representatives at all levels are not being transparent or responsive to what our citizen audits have found. Our right to vote for our elected representatives in a legally valid and transparent elections is the foundation on which our constitutional federal republic was established. That right has been bravely protected over the past 2.5 centuries by the sacrifices of our brothers, fathers, mothers, sisters, and for some of us, our children. You on this board today have a chance to show everyone who defended American liberty and the citizens you represent that you value it also by passing this resolution demanding a valid election in 2024. Please invite us back to be on your agenda if you are unable to pass it today. Our state director's contact information is on the documentation provided by our last reader to the chairperson. We appreciate your commitment to the constituents of Cook County, as well as the time and attention you have given us today. Thank you very much.
George Blakemore.
Mr. George Blakemore. To clone him. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I've been advocating for a digital clock up here, not you telling them, because some people speak longer than others. A digital clock. Anyway, health is wealth. I was just out at the Stroger Hospital yesterday. And I know I'm always just urinating. I'm old. The cycle of life, it comes to all of us. To all of us. I'm an old man. So I had that CT test. And it was, I said, young lady, I had that test 4 months ago. And you haven't given me any results? Something is wrong out at the county. And also when it comes the rating of the county is gone down. They own check. Mr. Blakemore, calm down and be articulate now. What do you mean check? The certified people are coming in and saying that their program educating the doctors is not working. Or mistaking them, all of them out there. It's something evil. The county and the city, they both corrupt. What makes the Democratic machine? And then this man come up and say, you steal elections. Still, you steal elections over at the election board, and now Karen, y'all be going name, you're going to have another lady recycle, all Democrats. Something is evil here. Something is wrong here. This is worse than Communist China, a one-party system. All Democrats, 69 in each other. Yes, I'm loud. I'm outraged of what's going on here. And look at her talking to somebody else while I'm talking to her. Something is evil here, corrupt here. And when it comes to, it's terrible. Bringing these illegals, I couldn't believe it at the county. Black people are almost gone out there. The illegal immigrant. And then she has the audacity to say with comprehensive health care for the residents. For the
1 minute, sir.
Residents, the legal residents. And when that man got up and talked about taxes, taxing without representation, and look at her smiling with a lawyer. She's ignoring you, Mr. Blakemore, but she hears you. People see you. They know you. They know this system, a one-party system. All of them are Democrats. All of them. No two-party system. Worse than Communist China. Russia.
30 seconds.
Then get up and leave and turn your back to me. And then tell the police to arrest me and drag me out. You're
Tempting.
evil
I'll tell you,
people
it's
here.
tempting.
Now my 3 minutes have exceeded, and I'm sitting down, and the ancestors just love me. Thank you.